Welcome everybody to the new patch 15.19 tier list. Riot's got some big changes planned on mid lane, including of my favorite champions, Syndra and Leblanc. This is going to be a big patch for me. I paid Riot Foxen on PayPal. We're not going to disclose the amount that I paid him, but there's some good deals happening here. Now, first things first, right? We're going to start with some champs that received some changes. Ahri, we're going to discuss how accurate our predictions were in the previous patch. And also, since we're going to be closing in on Worlds, we're also going to start talking a little bit more about the Worlds meta, which I think some players might be getting a little bit curious about. Now, first things first, right? Reflecting on last patch right here. What do you think? You think we did right? You think we were completely off the charge?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I personally think we're nearly spot on. I mean, if you just look at the pro play meta, or you look at like a Korean challenger, like a top 10 players match history and solo queue, it's all of those champs at the top. Like barring Syndra, I would say is like the one
Yep.
that they don't really play that much. But like Galio is always on their match history, and like you saw, if you guys watched any of the LCK playoffs, you saw Faker on Galio, Tilia, Rise, every game, Ori, right? Same with like BDD. All of these players have been playing these champs, so I think we're spot on. Like I think we're we're pretty much accurate now. Um, in solo queue, I think Rise is a little difficult to play, so I think maybe he shouldn't be in his own tier for solo queue specifically. But for pro play, I think he deserves to be in his own tier. That would be my only thing. I would say like we could have maybe we were too nice to Rise.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, Rise is good to discuss. I think
Yeah,
that we promised to circle back on Wei. Wei
yeah,
was very important to circle back on.
yeah.
We've seen a bit of Jace pop up, which is what we're going to discuss.
Hmm.
We're also going to discuss the Morgana pick because I've seen it pop up a little bit more, and I honestly think we
Mm,
underrated her. I
mm,
think this champion is a lot stronger than we initially gave credit for. I've also seen a lot of lost return scrims, and
mm,
this champ actually has pretty high prio. We're also going to explain why that's the case. And we had some questions about champions that you guys wanted to have some more clarification and some questions
mm.
about. We're going to also discuss that at the end. But first, right, let's do the fan favorite Way. That's our way. Everyone loves Way. We put him in high A tier. Now, we did a bit of checking. I thought he would be S tier. I thought the champ would be really good. AJ was a little bit more conservative. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of a double checkup here with how it's actually looking on the mid lane meta right now. And it looks like Wei, he's doing quite well. He's not at the top of the chart, but if we compare it to what he actually is last patch, I definitely think that he's gotten quite big changes. Now, the real question is for us, right? Is he S tier or is he A tier? And I'm going to be honest, I've started getting serious in solo queue again. I've not seen this champ enough to be convincingly put him in S tier. I think AJ, you were spot on last time in the A tier. Do you still agree with your statement?
Yeah, I think so. And the reason being is that Hui, even though he has a lot of utility, I think he's just a little bit less flexible than something like Oriana. Okay, because like I'll give you an example, right? If you play against a Rengar and a Katarina, as Ori, you're very happy going Roa or like Arcane with Roa, right? You see that a lot in pro play. The main difference I see with Hui is that because Hui has very mediocre base damage, you can't. It's really difficult to itemize defensively on Hui, right? Like you don't really want to go a Roa build. Like you can, but your damage is really low compared to Ori without AP, right? And without Blackfire. So I think that lack of flexibility, in my opinion, is why he's not S. If he had a little bit more oomph in his itemization, like you go a lot of different items, and like you could go Archangel as your first item, or you could buy Azonia's, like you could rush Zonia second, or something like
Mm.
that, or you could get Roa and you're happy with Roa. I think I would be happy with him in S, just because in some games you're just gonna be miserable playing Hui. Like no matter how much he gets buffed, you play against a Rengar, what can you do? You can't do anything until you have 3 items, right? Until you get your Zonias or even four
Yeah.
items. So that's why I think A is perfect for him.
Yep. He's a very solid AD champ. And I like him where he's at right now. I think this is a great place for Wei to be in. I like the bust that they did. And I honestly think that he's in a fantastic spot. So great job, Riot, with the last changes they did. Now, next up, we've seen a bit of, at least I've seen a ton of Jace pop up. The Jace buffs were quite good the last time. They allowed him to get towards his stronger spikes, get through his weaker early game a little bit better. We put him in A tier. I think that we were spot on with A tier as well. Jace is definitely not S. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe in the hands of Chovy, like a freak,
Yeah.
he might be S, but Jace is still incredibly hard
Mhm.
to play. Solo queue wise, I don't think you still want to blind it. I played Jace into Syndra. I played Jace into Orianna. I played Jace into Ryze. It's still just brutal matchups in which that you gotta play so incredibly well to get through it. Hard to do. I don't think he deserves S because of his. It's just too hard to execute. You gotta be a
Yeah.
freak. You gotta be a freak.
Yeah. Yeah, just to segue off of that, I think Jace, out of all the champions on the list, I think you unironically probably need the best hands to play Jace. Every time I play against a challenger Jace, they always have so much better mechanics than even other challenger players playing a different champ. Like I think Jace, your clicks need to be like perfect. Your spacing and baiting with hammer needs to be perfect. You need to use the E hexscape movement speed to like
Oh,
dodge roar cues.
unbelievable.
Like I played against a 1K LP Jace guy, and I literally thought he was a pro player. That's how good his movement was, and he's just a Jace OTP, and that's like the level you need to be able to play Jace, to climb with Jace. So he's just too much mechanics. Like go to top if that's what you want to do, right? I think it's just
Yeah.
too much for somebody trying to realistically improve at mid, in my opinion.
Yep. And I think the same is also like somewhat there for Rise. I think they're also somewhat similar champs in a way. Of course, both of them have a lot of options. Rise is also medium range. You really got to be precise with your clicks, otherwise it's super hard to get damage off in team fights. So Rise, therefore, we're going to get him out of his individual tier. We're going to put him in S tier together with Oriana
Yeah.
and the rest of the boys.
Yeah.
Morgana. Now, you weren't that fond of Morgana, and
Hmm.
this patch really convinced me. I think Morgana is legit. I still think she's dog shit for teaching the game. I don't
Yes.
recommend anyone
Yes.
learning her just to get better at mid lane. You don't. It's temp elo, but she's strong.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think? I think
Yeah.
she's A tier.
This is where I'm conflicted because part of me, like, whenever I do tier lists, I like to think about like, okay, what's gonna happen when they're done playing the champ? Are they gonna develop skills? That's part of a tier list, in my opinion, too. Like, if we're looking at strictly objective power, I agree. She might even be A, honestly. Like, she's
Yeah.
so obnoxious
Yeah.
to play against. But I, part of me feels like she teaches you so little that like what's the point? You're gonna like play her, get LP, and then she'll get nerfed or changed or something, or the meta will change where it's not so much about pushing and ignoring lane anymore. And then it's gonna like you're gonna lose all your LP again. And it's just like it just doesn't like I'm very biased here. Like it just does not
Yep.
sit well with me. The idea of this champion. So in terms of objective strength, I think she's A tier. In terms of my personal bias, I'd put her B just because I would never recommend somebody to play Morg because of the like it just does not teach you anything. It's like you're just
Yep.
playing your own game. I just don't like it for somebody
Absolutely.
like I would never recommend somebody to play it.
So strength wise, she's A, guys, but
Yes.
we don't recommend picking her
Yes.
unless you're forced to do it for competitive
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's right.
Cool. Yeah, so we covered most of these changes right here. We're now going to start moving on to the actual changes that Riot made, and there's some really juicy stuff out there. We're going to start off with Ahri. So Ahri, we initially put her in the B tier. She did fall off a little bit, and like we predicted, she was just weaker than the rest of the champions. And deservedly, she got a little bit of a buff. And the buff that they gave her is they gave her flat damage per hit on her passive. Now, passive on her ult.
R.
And this is, of course, nice because Ahri's base damage
Yes.
in that case wasn't that high. They improved it by quite a bit 1525 into 1535
That's a
into
lot.
55
Yeah.
per hit. Imagine 3 times, right?
Yeah.
It's nice, right? But we really got to ask ourselves the question how much does this actually change for this champion? I've been yapping a lot. What do you think, AJ?
Okay. I think Ari is good once the other good champs are gone. So we're looking. I'm gonna start with competitive, okay? Because we actually have been seeing Ari in competitive recently, but that's only in game 4 and game 5 because that's when all the other good champs are gone. The Rora's picks from top lane, Galio's gone, Talia's gone, Ryze is gone, Ori's gone. Also, all these good champs are gone. She's not bad. So I think she's like the definition right now of like a B tier champ. Once all of these really OPs are gone, she creeps up and now she's good. So now the question becomes, will this allow her to combat these stronger champs easier, right? Like, will she have a better time against Ori now or Rise? I don't think so. Will she have a better time against Aurora? I don't think so. Better time against Galio? Not really, right? So yes, these are welcome buffs. I don't think this is enough to change the scale, in my opinion. On her to like make her all of a sudden S again. Um, I think at best she's probably low A, high B. What is probably where I'd put her right now. She's okay. I still think the better champs right now are much better though. Like the S champs
Yeah.
are just miles ahead of Ahri, even with these buffs.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. So I'm going to give one argument that is important
Mhm.
to note is that Ari's identity, right, is skirmishing and is especially skirmishing with ult. I think that if she can get that extra reset right now with her damage, the increase that she gets, her just executing her identity in solo queue is just going to
Mm,
be easier than it was
yeah.
before. If we compare her with the other B tier champs, is she better? Is she worse? If we compare her with the A tier champs, is she better? Is she worse?
Mm,
If we compare her with S tier, is she better? Is she worse? So she's clearly worse than S. I
yes.
think she's clearly better than B. So
Mm.
I think she fits perfectly in the A category here.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. I think she's better than Diana. I think she's better than Triss. I think she's better than Kali. So yeah, I think yeah, I can see it. I can see A. And the only thing I will say, by the way, is base damage buffs buff certain items really hard. So on Ari, base damage buffs means Roa is better. So just think about that. Not saying you guys should build it. I'm just saying think about it. Magic pen items become better. So Shadow Flame is better on her now. Sorks are better on her now. Um, Leandry's better as well because Leandry's multiplies your base damage. So I just, if you're an Ahri main, I will consider exploring those just a little bit. Like especially Leandry's. I think Leandry's with base damage R buffs could be pretty decent. So I would say give that a shot if you're an Ahri main and see how that feels.
Beautiful. Now, we're moving on to my favorite change of the patch. We're going to move on to the Syndra change. And
Oh God, my least favorite.
I had a bit of a laugh already at this one when I first saw these changes. So I'll go on a bit of a monologue, okay? So personally, I think that in solo queue, Syndra is already like
Mhm.
top of the top. There's a very important reason why that's the case. Her E ability is completely broken. It's broken. In competitive, pro players know how to dodge it. They anticipate it. They know how to properly put the mental stack on it, and they know the range. But in solo queue, everyone gets caught by it. Everyone, you can just walk up on mid wave, and the AD carry is not going to respect it. It happens in Grandmaster. Dude. It happens in low challenger. They just get hit. Everyone gets hit because they don't know the exact range. Now, I understand because it's very different. The actual range of Syndra is not how the visual range of her E is. So a lot of people get confused, and only Syndra players really know it. And that's like the fucked up part about the champ as well. Now, the reality is, champ is already really good, and they're changing some very interesting things. Remember how I said that Syndra's E is one of the best abilities in the game? Well, they're buffing it by 2 seconds. Huge. Insanity. Insanity, in my opinion, this change. Really, really good buff. Now they're slightly compensating it. They're making her slightly less tanky. She's losing a little bit of armor. She's losing a little bit of health growth. Now, what does this specifically mean? This is about 60 to 70 HP per game. Okay. Armor growth. That's going to be quite a bit of armor over a longer period of time. And especially if you're going to be building HP oriented build with the Cosmic Drive, the value goes slightly down. So they're making it a little bit more squishy and a little bit more killable, but they're also making her deal more damage. They're also increasing her Q AP ratio by 5, which is nice. It's honestly really, really nice. And also the base damage by 5. So more damage and less tankiness. And here comes the biggest thing. The tankiness, right, is mitigated by the E cooldown. Because this is way more important than having the base stats. Because your E is your defensive ability and your offensive ability at the same time. So I think Syndra gets more flexibility in both offensive and defensive. She gets a little bit more damage on her most used ability, which she uses a lot. On average, you land 2 Qs minimal, which is a 10% AP scaling. Syndra skills crazy with AP, by the way. So I think Syndra, I'm really happy with this, but probably I don't think it was necessary. She was fine, but I think she's way better than solo queue. But the thing is, it really depends on how you use this. If you don't use this E ability well, this is going to be a nerf. If you use the E ability really well and you can make use of the cooldown increase, this champion is going to be wrecking havoc in solo queue. So I think she's buffed. What do you think as a non-Syndra player?
I my jaw's on the ground when I read those changes, man. Those are like as a challenger player, like a low, like right now I'm low to mid challenger. Holy crap! I already hate playing against Syndra enough because the thing is with these, the higher elo you get, like you said, the better they get at using the E, the more aggressive they are with their Q because they understand how to use their Q and maximize the cooldown and space well. So these are just insane change, like 5 base damage on your Q with a 5% actual AP ratio. Like we were just talking about Azir last patch, how much that shot him down with the W, right? I mean, obviously Syndra's damage is only from her Q, but in lane, her bread and butter spell is the Q, right?
Yeah.
Just like Azir's W. Look at how much Azir shot down at play rate from having a similar change. And Syndra got the buff that Azir lost pretty much. And then she got the E reduction. So I think this will increase the skill ceiling of Syndra even more. Like she was already a really high ceiling, increase it even more. So like I'm just imagining we have an MLA member named Tin. He's like 1200 LP. He's a Syndra main, pretty good
Yeah.
at Syndra. I'm not excited to play against somebody like that good at Syndra. It's solo queue. So yeah, these are just, I would say, for the average player. So for like, if you're plat or you're emeralds, I would say it's about neutral because you are a lot more vulnerable to dying. Like a little bit of armor and health loss actually changes a lot in terms of your survivability. But I think if you're like Master Plus, like holy crap, like pick up this champ. Like I might even might want to get my hands dirty on Syndra now. Honestly, looking at this, yeah, I'm
It looks
convinced.
pretty filthy, yeah.
Riot sold me. Riot sold me on that.
Now the real question is, where is she going to be ending up in the solo queue list? Because I think that Syndra, she only has really one bad matchup that is just not pretty to play, and that matchup is Orianna. Victor is fine. Orianna is really brutal in the early lane with the shorter cooldowns. Victor's also hard, but it's minimizable. You know,
Yeah.
he's just a lot more vulnerable comparatively towards Orianna. Um, Look, I think Syndra has insane matchups. Ryze is good. Talia is good. Galio is good. Wei is good. Zoe's
Yeah.
fine. Aurora's good. You can just go on and on and on. Now, of course, Zed can be annoying. It's my personal ban because it just appears in every single game at the moment with these changes. But I honestly think that Syndra is a beast. Where exactly in S tier is she going to be? I think she's up there together with the Orianna right here. I
Yeah, it's
think
hard to say. The only reason why I would have put her there is because pro players haven't picked her yet. But obviously, we're gonna be on a new patch. Is
yeah.
this the world's patch? This is right, or were we the
No,
one
one more.
before? Okay, so I'm curious to see what's the meta. Like, are pro players going to start playing her more in Fearless? If they are, I'm very happy putting her right next to Ori. I'm not sure quite yet because I think S plus means like the best of the best players are also playing it and making it
Yeah.
work. I just don't see that yet. Now these changes do make it easier for that to happen. So I'm curious to see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
So I'm really curious to see, like, especially the
Yeah.
non-Syndra pro players, because there's pro
Yes.
players that can't play this champ.
Like,
Have
yeah.
you ever seen Chovy play Syndra?
No, dude, the last time he played that was like last time I seen him play that was like 4 years ago or something, or five
Yeah,
years ago.
it's
I have
great.
not
He
seen it.
doesn't like the champ. He doesn't like
Yeah,
the champ.
he doesn't.
So there's a lot of pro players that just are struggling with Syndra, and Syndra's fucking hard, right?
Yeah.
Especially with his skill ceiling. There are a lot of skill shots. E ability is very unintuitive. You got to get reps in on this champ to start seeing the skirmishing patterns. So if we're gonna see non-Syndra pro players pick this champion, that's when we especially know that's off the charts. If
Yeah,
people are learning this
that's
champ,
right. They're
if
taking
we
the time to
see
learn her. Yeah.
if Chovy's learning Syndra, we know something's down, something's
Oh,
going
and I'm
bad.
getting ahead of myself. But now, what am I gonna ban? Syndra or LeBlanc, guys? I don't know. Which one of Tim's champs do I permaban? Tell me in the comments.
All right, we had our Syndra monologue here. This is cool. So keep an eye out on Syndra, boys. And if you're a Syndra enjoyer, time to learn a secondary champ because there might be some Syndra bands
Yeah.
running around. Now, we're moving on to the other champ, which is Leblanc, of course, right? And AJ is already, I see you
Oh my
sighing.
god.
I see you don't like it.
Where's
Come
the
on.
Yone bumps, man?
You didn't
Had to
pay
give
for
enough money, I
Proxon,
guess.
man.
Yeah. Give him the handle.
So, previously, we put LeBlanc in high A tier. Now, LeBlanc was already good. And
Yeah.
if you look at, for example, the ratio of bans in especially higher elo, 21% in all of the regions. EU West, right? LeBlanc ban rate is 18%, not that bad. But now you go to Korea,
Yeah, should be
well,
really high, probably. Yeah,
46%.
yeah,
This champ is permabanned in Korea because of how oppressive it is in the early game.
yeah,
And I totally understand. It's a very strong laner. You are playing the LeBlanc minigame. If you're playing versus LeBlanc, you're not in control. You gotta play her game. And that's really hard to do for a lot of people. Of course, LeBlanc has her downsides. She still sucks versus certain comps. Even with these buffs, what they're going to do is they're going to give her 10 extra percent AP on LeBlanc, on her W, and 5 extra AP scaling on her R. RW, that is. Not on the RQs, only the RW. Now, what does this exactly do? Okay, because for a lot of people may be wondering, what does this mean? WAP scaling is really big. The reason why WAP scaling is really big is because
wave
this
clear.
is wave clear,
Yeah,
number one, and there's a lot of times where you barely don't get the kill onto the caster
mm,
creeps. So this is huge, especially if
especially
you're
E.
behind the curve.
Yeah,
And this is such a blessing because if you're behind the curve on LeBlanc and you don't one-shot those casters, you're stuck clearing waves in the side lane for years, are not allowing you to shove a move. So this is a forgiving LeBlanc change as well. It helps
yeah,
your wave clear breakpoint from behind. Massive. Insane. And a lot of people overlook this. But most importantly, what this does is it helps her with her scaling, which is not her strongest point. She can scale completely fine, but it's completely dependent on team comps.
mm,
This might be a little bit of extra damage that she can now use to kill the enemy target. LeBlanc works with kill ranges. She is also very snowbally. This extra damage, if you have Ludens at 150 AP, you buy Dark Seal every game, you have
Dark
a
Shield
lot of
stacks.
high AP items. This can be the damage between you not killing and killing people. The W is very nice, this buff. It's really good.
Crazy.
RW, it's a really unique one because RW for a lot of people is a very unintuitive ability. And RW is actually an ability that I think is the most versatile, and um, it's the ability that the best LeBlancs will use the best because it opens up different trading patterns in the lane and it opens up different combo patterns in team fights. And you only see this if you're really good at the champion. But what happens if you give this ability slightly bit extra damage is that the the versatility might now be worth more than the raw damage that you might get from proccing an extra Q or proccing an extra E. A really important trading pattern that a lot of people will do, a lot of only the best ones will do it, is they RW forward and then they do an insta W or they do RWQW. And what happens, you get two W procs down there. And what they do is then they flick back to the initial W or the initial RW, and then they still have an extra mimic on the other side. So what they do is they fuck with your mind, and then they jump back to land the chain. Or
Mm,
they wait a bit, because you wait a few seconds, and then you can wait for your cooldowns and get the extra rotation of spells in it. It's fucked up because there's so much pressure. And the range is increased instead of starting with Q. So this is, I can just yap about LeBlanc for years, by the way. It's just huge. It's just amazing changes for her. If you play against LeBlanc as a bad matchup, you're going to suffer even more. LeBlanc's still going to be bad in the bad games. That's just the reality. The champ's just buffed. She's very annoying. As a non-LeBlanc player, what do you think?
dude, look at those changes. She might be S tier. I think she might be S tier. Like she's already good. I already think she's like okay to good right now, just because right now the meta is how much lead control can you get in the first 10 minutes, and she's great at that, right? So like, sure, maybe like it gets the specific meta champs. Maybe she's not the best. Like Ori's probably annoying. Galio is obviously annoying. Rise is annoying. Sure, right?
Yeah,
But like, basic as every other champ, right? You're getting so much control over the game. And this change is that's so much like that's such a big amount of extra damage. You come back and you buy Dark Seal Amtome, that's 35 AP, right? And you W like a few times, and you've added like already 15 damage to your combo, right? Which adds up, like you said with the kill range. You might one shot the caster and you can move first. So I think, I personally, that change makes me want to try LeBlanc as well. I might be giving Syndra and LeBlanc a little bit of time. So I
yeah,
personally think she's S, but that's because maybe I'm a little biased to how powerful like champions the first 10 minutes are. Like, I really think they're really, really, really good right now. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure how bad the bad matchups are. So it would really just depend. Like, can she play against Rise and Galio or comfortably with these changes?
Yeah, so let's analyze these matchups, right? Because
Yeah.
I dream these in my sleep here. The Rise matchup is just horrible. He just stands there in the 1v1,
Mm,
stat checks you.
yeah.
Orianna matchup is the exact same. Stands there in the 1v1, stat checks you. You don't have the damage to break through them in the isolated 1v1. You need jungle tension. You have no jungle, you're going to go down 20 CS, you're going to suffer, you're going to sit in the tower, you're going to cry, you get no vision, you're going to need to drop waves to make plays happen on the map. It's just horrible. This champ is not built to beat these champs in 1v1. Syndra, on the other hand, free as fuck because she's got skill shot, we got
Yeah.
dashes. Talia, rough, but if you play really smart around her E and around her wave clear and you potentially get trading opportunities, it's really good because Talia is squishy. So you can get kill windows. Galio, honestly, he minimizes you in isolation, but you still get push. You're still fine. It's not a terrible matchup. He just becomes slightly more useful you and skills with you. So the matchups aren't in the end the problem. It's more the team comp,
Right.
your team comp versus enemy team comp. If you're versus
Right.
Mundo as Leblanc, good luck. Good luck. You're not going to do much versus that champion. If you're going to play against Mundo plus Rise, good luck getting a single push in the side lane. You're fucked. You're screwed. It's really, really hard. So you need to have certain conditions being met. But here comes the but. Most of the time, the conditions are fine. And it's just about execution. And if you execute well, even though that the border of execution is really high, you can't make many mistakes on this champ. One mistake too much instantly loses the game. I think if you're good at the champ and you understand the game, it's a very annoying champ to verse. And there's going to be games where you're going to, if you're playing against Leblanc, where you feel like you have no windows to do anything and you're just going to lose. You're just going to lose, and there's not much that you can do against it. And that, in and of itself, the ability to make that happen is, in my opinion, as worthy. I've been yapping too much, huh? It's good. So yeah,
It's Tim's patch, guys. He's gonna be 1.3 KLP in a blink of an eye. That is right.
Hey, I saw the changes. I'm like, this is my time to get back into solo queue right now.
Crazy.
It's good. So yeah, a lot of good changes here. Now we got some other changes. So a few quick ones. Corki, you seen some Corki? I see a little bit of Corki here and there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I see actually a decent amount. For some reason, everyone picks it into Aurora against me. I don't know why. I feel like it's not that good, but
Okay.
yeah, I see it quite a bit recently.
Okay. Small base damage produced. 10 damage on all ranks. It's not that small at all. That's a lot of fucking damage.
That's a lot.
Especially this Q was like the tool that you just drop onto someone when they need to last it. So they drop the
It's
creep.
too hard
or they
to
get hit.
dodge. Yeah.
Exactly. So 10 damage is a lot because you're going to do this on a lot of minions. Plus
Yes.
80 ratio down. Pretty big change in my opinion.
Really big change. Yeah.
Yep. So we had him previously in the B tier. Now,
Honestly, I think we were wrong. I feel like
yeah.
he should have been an A tier last time.
I think
I
so
think
too.
now he's B. Yeah.
I think so too.
I think we undershot him last patch.
I like B tier. B tier is good.
Yeah. There we go.
Cool. Mel. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've not played any games of Mel. You have played games of Mel.
Yes,
I have no clue what this means. So
Okay.
enlighten me, AJ. What is this?
Yeah, so what this is whenever you cast a spell. So imagine Zoe, right? Whenever Zoe casts a spell, she gets empowered auto. That's kind of how Mel works, but it stacks up. Okay, so the more you cast spells, the more you get, right? So when you auto attack, you get more like the passive damage kind of. So what this is that whenever you cast a spell, you're getting more base damage on the procs. That's what I'm saying. Maximum bonus damage on attack. So the maximum bonus is the total, like, because you can't stack it up infinitely, right? So that's like the limit, like how much you can get. So yeah, this is actually quite a big change in my opinion for her scaling.
Yeah.
Because what this means is that, because remember, her spells are really easy to dodge actually, right? Like your E is like you're only clipping somebody with your E. Same with your Q. So getting passive auto, undodgeable auto damage is really, really, really big for this champion. Well, will that change her a lot? No, because she still has so many weaknesses. Like her win rate is this will still, I think, be bad, and it doesn't change her wave clear weaknesses. But um, yeah, I think this is a good change, especially against melee champions. As you get
Yeah,
a base damage buff, right? You get to weave in those auto attacks, get those passive procs, and yeah, I think this is a welcome change. I think this will be a change where you won't feel it if you're a lower elo player, which is good. That's a good thing because people are really frustrated playing against her in low elo. But then if you're high elo, like it might make her actually somewhat like playable, right? Because she's like completely unplayable right now, in my opinion. So um, I think
interesting.
it's a welcome change in the right direction. It's not enough, in my opinion, yet, but it's a
Hmm.
good change. It's a welcome change.
How would you change Mel's? Maybe you should change a kit, right? Maybe you think that kit is just not good.
I
How
think that
would
they
you
should.
change Mel?
I think they should rework the W a little bit. So don't make it a
Ooh,
true reflect. Make it just like a block, like a Fiora W, and then that way you can actually put power in her kit. In my opinion, without players being frustrated. Because
they'll
I think
never
the
do
problem,
that. That's the unique.
yeah,
That's the
right.
USP.
But the problem is that she can't be buffed because she's too frustrating to play against. So like I really think the only spells you can buff in her kit are her R and her passive, I think. Because the
Hmm.
Q and E will be too good in low MMRs. Obviously, they will never change the cooldown of the W because people will complain. So that leaves only the passive and the R, in my opinion, then, right? And base stats. So I think what they should do is give her more base attack speed, in my opinion, so you can contest the wave more without using your spells. Because what I noticed, like, let's say you play Mel versus Ahri. In theory, that's a good matchup for Mel. Problem is, Ahri ignores you and cues the wave, right? So I think getting an attack speed buff could buff or wave clear without buffing your Q and E. I think base HP so you could trade more early game. And yeah, and then passive and R would be the other things. And worst case, change the W, right? If and make some other part of our kit unique. In that case,
Yep.
those would be my changes, in my opinion. But yeah, right now, right direction, not enough, in my opinion. Not
Yep.
enough.
Okay. Yeah. Look. So we put her in C as far as I know. Let's do a bit of a double check.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was like C tier counter pick tier, which
yeah,
is pretty legit here.
still accurate, in my opinion.
Still accurate, huh?
Like maybe bottom of a B, like similar, like maybe bottom of a B with this change because I will say that is a big change against melees, right? Like if you play against a Yasuo, I think I'm much happier with that change. Or like um you play against Echo, I think you're pretty decently happy with that change. It's just like the problem is she still has so many weaknesses. Like you can't like you play against Aurora, which is the champion you're supposed to counter, and she ignores you and kills the wave. You play against Ahri, she ignores you, kills the wave. Play against Wei. Like all these changes as a counter, you just don't because you don't have wave clear. That's the problem. So yeah, I think she's just still C or low B for me.
Okay. Yeah, I would say C. I've played against
Yeah.
one Mel, and even though the player played pretty well, he just couldn't do much because I was just
Yeah.
pushing him in all the time as Syndra.
Yeah.
He was just pinned in the turret.
I'm just stuck on a turret. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So we've gotten all the changes out. Now there's a few other champs that I want to highlight. Just go a
Yeah.
little bit deeper upon. Also because we got some questions about it. Now, first things first. There was a question about Zoe and specifically electrocute burst Zoe versus bubble spam CDR Zoe.
Mm. Mm.
Now I know that you got like a Zoe OTP on your server, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
tension or something that you play for him.
Sammy can
Oh,
Zoe. I can send it to you while we're yapping.
okay. So what is he doing?
He does the yeah. I sent it to you on Discord. He does the bubble spam. That's actually where I learned the build. By the way, I studied it from him because he was the only guy I seen doing it. And this guy's like the best Zoe. Like he's always top 30, top 10,
That is
and
crazy high
NA with Zoe.
LP.
And if you look, he almost always goes the CDR spam Zoe build. And look at his win rate and that elo range with Zoe. And
Crazy.
when I play against it, the reason why it's so annoying is that he uses his E off cooldown. So it's like you never feel safe. Like usually when I play against Zoe, the way you counterplay against her is you be really sporadic with your movement and you avoid her E, and now you have a massive window. The problem with his build is that his E never has a window to be punished on. Right? He uses his E, and then you try to walk up. You take a trade, and his E's back up again. He blasts you in the back with the E. Or like in side lane, he has so much war pressure from Fog of War with the E's. And Zoe is a champion where if you land your combo, like maybe he goes from not killing you and he does like 80%. But in his opinion, that's more than good enough because you get somebody out of the fight already, right? and your champ is like a burst champion that's not tied to a big cooldown, right? You're not like a Talon where your burst is tied to your ult. Zoe's cool E is like no cooldown, so you get a burst opportunity every time you press E, right? Um, and it's just insane. Every time I play against it, it feels so unplayable when I play against him. It's insane.
Interesting. Yeah. So when it comes to the tier, right?
Yeah.
Um, what are you thinking in this case? Do you think she's still high A tier? Do you think what do
So
you
yeah,
experience?
I think if everybody was a Zoe expert and they knew perfectly how to use her E build, she would be S tier champ, no doubt about it. We got to be realistic though, right? She's like Rise, right? We put Rise down a tier because realistically, not everyone is that good at Rise. It's the same with Zoe. It's not possible to be that good at Zoe in like 80 games, 100 games, even
Yeah.
500, right? She's like has an infinite skill ceiling. So I think, okay, objectively speaking, that E build is her best build in my opinion, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. But it is way harder than the traditional build in my opinion, because you're like the traditional build is you just land your Q and your auto and electrocute and ignite, you kill someone, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the E spam build, the trade off is you must land your E, right? Which is a hard skill shot to land. So I think I like her still in A just because of her difficulty. If everyone was like really damn good at Zoe, I think she'd be S tier champ. No, like without a shadow of a doubt in my mind.
Clear. Very good. So I want to discuss a few more champs because we
Yep.
had some more questions about the champs. Now, first things first, right? Silas, right? I think Silas has also been one that we've like not really dove deep upon for a while. And
Mm,
the truth is, I see him only in jungle. I don't see him in mid anymore. Is
mm,
this truly an A tier champion?
mm.
Let's do some research here.
The first thing that comes to mind is there is a Silas OTP in NA as well that plays at only mid, and I guess that he's pretty good. I could send you his OPGG here. Find it.
Hmm.
His name is Petrosite. I think he makes
Yeah,
content.
I see it here.
Yeah, so I play against him. When I play against him, he actually feels pretty hard to play against. When I play
Hmm.
against him, the key to Silas mid being good is your ability to land your E. You have to
Yeah.
be really good at landing your E to make it work, in my opinion.
Yep.
So I think it's just really, yeah, it's a lot about landing the E.
It's a hard
But
champ, man.
it's hard. It's like Zoe's hard.
Yeah. It's not that many.
Yeah, it's not that many
You got this
though.
guy who's a freak as well. Complete freak. Holy shit, what a freak.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, the fact that you could have a win rate like wait, does he? Yeah, the fact that you have a win rate like that means he can't be that bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think that it's just so hard to,
yeah, it is really hard to replicate.
yeah, insanely hard to replicate. And see that if he plays against Call Me, for example, it looks like he's just getting drained
Yeah,
completely.
Cassio, Silas. I remember I used to be a Silas main like in season 11 or something. I had like 300 Silas games. Every time I played against Rise or Cassio, I felt like you can't do anything. Like it literally felt
Yeah.
impossible to play those matchups.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, if we really categorize this for solo queue, right? Is he A tier?
Especially with the Cassio buffs and Rise being so good. And I don't know the Leblanc matchup, but Leblanc sounds pretty rough early game too
It's actually
with the
one of his
buffs.
best matchups.
It's not bad, right?
No, it's not
Yeah.
bad.
I remember people used to play Silas in the Leblanc, so
Yeah,
Aurora's hard. Jace is hard, which is
it's always
buffed.
hard.
Ah man, the more I look at it, the more he might be B tier right
Yeah,
now. His matchups are just too rough. Looking at these, Jace is bad, Aurora's bad, Rise is bad, Cassio's bad, Zoe's bad, or he's like whatever. Yeah, I think he's similar to Kali in my opinion.
yeah. I'm
I
I'm
think
happy
he's
to
like the
put him
Kali.
down.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm happy to put him down, but
Yeah,
I do want to also make some changes here because Akali is been getting some love in later stages of the draft in pro play.
yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys seen the Honkyu Akali play, but fucking hell, that was crazy what he did there. Also, Knight's been picking up a little bit. Akali's getting some love, but only when the big hitters are out. So I think she's pretty decent here in
Mhm.
B tier. Other champ that I really want to highlight is Costin. Now, I was pretty adamant on Costin being A tier for a while, but I have actually not seen him at all in my games anymore. He's disappeared from my games. Have you seen any Costin?
No,
We did some
zero.
research. We did do some research, but Korea. Let's take a look at global here. He's all right. He's got pretty decent win rate. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at Gosselin. Okay. Well, Alados is
Aladdin is
hey,
good.
look at this. Both guys are from MLA.
Oh, oh, oh! Wow, yeah, that's crazy actually.
The Western Cousins are taking over in the program. That's awesome. Yeah, they've found something, by the way. They have found something. But yeah, look, it's hard for me to put Costin in A tier after
Yeah, I never thought he was like he
yeah,
just had too many bad matches in my opinion.
slightly move him down here to B tier. Irelia, have you seen any Irelia?
No.
I versed 2 today. Crazy. One, Conquer TP. Other one, PTA Ignite.
Yeah, that is some other build. I think. Yeah, there's a PTA Ignite build that's like really annoying to play against.
I'm gonna show it to you here, right? What happened? Look at this shit. Look at this shit here. I didn't flash the E. I died
Oh
before
yeah,
I
it's a
could
one
do
shot.
anything.
Yeah, the PTA. Yeah, I think Necklace has been doing that in MLA, coaching MLA. He's been advocating this build a lot.
What? So this guy that I versed completely changed the way I view this matchup, by the
Mm,
way. Because I was always taking first strike defensive page for Zarella, skill up, wave management,
mm,
under tower. I'm
mm,
kidding. She can't dive me.
mm.
Now this changed everything. I'm forced to run bone plating right now, or this happens to me. And
Right.
I was shocked when I saw this. I was
Well, to
shocked.
be fair, he did already have 4 stacks, right, when he jumped on you,
Yeah, he did a four
because he
stack.
stacked it off the turret.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he can keep it up on the turret, so
they
that's the
changed
big
that.
problem.
Yeah, like a while ago that you get stacked on the turrets.
Hate that change, by the way. So yeah, I think that Aurelia is probably still pretty playable if you're really good on her, but of course the execution level to get there is quite hard. It's quite hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, we got a lot of champs in here. We have B tier, which is pretty legit right now. How about Asir? You've seen any Asir still?
No, 0.
Asir is
It's
he
only
gone?
yeah, it's gone. It's only good in I think at comp now.
Yeah. I think we covered most of it. Is there any other you wanna
Let
discuss
me
here?
just double check. No, I think we're good. I think I
Yeah.
like this. I think it's a good spot. But, oh,
You've seen
actually, I
it.
do want to talk about Cassio because I've seen a rise of Cassio. I've seen like so many
Mm,
Cassios recently after the buffs.
okay.
So I just want to talk about it. We don't have to change the tier, but I do want to say I do think those changes are quite big. I played against APA Cassio earlier, and I played against some other guy who was playing Cassio. I think those buffs were actually quite big for her, in my opinion.
Look at that. She's doing
Yeah,
really well. Holy moly. This might be an A tier, actually. What the hell?
yeah, yeah.
I've
She
not
felt
seen
quite
any
strong to play
Casio.
against. There's a few Cassio mains on my server, good ones. Like APA is like known for his Cassio. It was really annoying to play against. Really annoying to play against.
A little bit of research here. Mm, see no punishes here. Yeah, honestly, looks pretty decent. She can probably play pretty well. What do you think? Do you think she's A tier? Do you think she's B?
I've only seen her 3 times, and she did look pretty good all those times. But they always played it in a good game.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm not super comfortable with A quite yet. If I see Cassio and like bad games for her, and she does well, then I'll be happy to put her in A. But I just want to talk about it. Everyone, keep your eyes out for Cassio. If you're an old Cassio player and want to revisit her, I think she's good. She's really good against Rise. pretty decent against Aurora.
These
Good
need to do a
against
lot of
some of the,
this.
yeah.
Just this is pretty rough here. This can be a bit tricky. This one, but this is good. This is good. This is good. Victor can be tricky. Wei can be tricky. But the rest is all like fine. Zoe can be tricky. The rest is all pretty good here for her. This is
Yeah.
not ideal as well. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna definitely put her up in A tier. We're gonna up in B tier, I mean.
Mm,
And we're gonna keep an eye on Casso, see what she's exactly doing.
yep.
So next patch we're gonna couple back on that. So once again, guys, right? We covered a few of you guys' questions and champs that you wanted to cover. We're gonna do the exact same thing in 2 weeks again. Put it down in the comments, and we'll be answering some of you guys' questions. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's gonna be some exciting patches, and especially the next one is gonna be huge for Worlds. So thank you all for watching.